Are you a podcaster? Maybe you've got that big idea and you're looking for a network to join. The multi-award-winning Ozcast Network can get your content to eyes and ears all over the world. Join now for the first month free, and you could be featuring this sound at the beginning of your podcast.
Ozcast.
Simply head to ozcastnetwork.com for details.
Time. Why do you feel like you never have any in your life as a parent? What is time? Time can be defined as an ongoing and continuous sequence of events that occur in succession from past through to present and to the future. Time is used to quantify, measure, or compare the duration of events and intervals between them, and even sequence events. How do you spend your time? Are you always running out of it? Are you making the most of it and doing things that make you happy? Or are you too busy to be happy because you're busy taking care of others? Are you too busy trying to find what you regard as success in the world? Or are you simply procrastinating? Have a think. Where does your time go? In today's world, one of the catch cries is, I haven't got enough time. So how do we run out of something that is so available? And then some of us has kids. You may have thought you were short of time before, and now you realize that you had so much more time in your previous child-free life. I'm Kate Mason, and welcome to Parenting and Personalities. This is the podcast that connects you to the ones you care about the most. Today I'm talking to Jacqlin Richards. Jacqlin is known as the Freedom Finder for parents. She's a mother, parent mentor, speaker and facilitator who's deeply passionate about bringing greater awareness to the way we raise our children. Raising empowered children takes empowered parents, and Jacqlin loves to walk alongside men and women as they empower themselves through her mentorship programs to become a very different type of parent. Jacqlin believes that we can evolve in the way we raise our kids to the point where all parents and children see themselves and each other as powerful. And to do that, we need to see ourselves as powerful first. Today, we're talking about time and why you never feel like you have any in your life as a parent. Hi Jacqlin, it's great to have you back to talk to us again about parenting and helping parents out.
Wonderful to be here again.
Now, what I want to ask you is, you've mentioned something about time and being a parent. Now, where do we begin with that topic?
Well, I think I would begin where I begin everything to do with parenting, which is with our parents.
Right.
Because we parent from the past, we live from the past, everything is informed by the way that we were parented. So the relationship with time that our parents had becomes ours. Right? We repeat it. Or, like everything else, we can react and do the opposite as well, right? If our parents were just so stressed out and freaking out all the time and, never had time, then maybe we adopt the absolute opposite. And it's so often the way that we end up at opposite ends of the spectrum. Mm-hmm. And it's not necessarily what's authentic or what's true for us. It's repetition or reaction. So it comes from the past.
So what came from the past with your parenting in time?
Well, my mother would always have this mindset that there's never enough.
Right.
There's never enough. And from the moment she would wake up, and I remember this, and I remember it well because I repeated it, so it's right here, right? Yep. From the moment that I and her, that we would wake up, we're on the back foot. Right, from the moment we wake up, always starting from this place of never enough. Right? I didn't get enough sleep. I don't have enough time. I don't have enough help. I don't have enough resources. I don't have enough petrol in the car, or whatever it is, but it's definitely a thing.
Right.
Yeah, it's definitely a thing. So that's where, when I think back just to answer that question, it's like, yeah, it was there. And it infiltrated, right, every moment of our lives. Never enough time. Got to, rush, busy.
So therefore, if we have a more calm, relaxed parent, is that a better thing for us? Because my parents, I was actually never aware of lack of time with my parents. They were both very organised, and my mum was really organised, but she's kind of organised cruisy. She's 91 now, and she's still beautiful, just like she is. So we never really felt rushed. And I think as a person, I like you say, I don't think I'm a rushed person in that sense either. I think, I've never really thought about it before because I never really thought about that. It's very interesting.
Yeah, and I love to think about things that I've never thought about because it's great. Just, it's like, wow, there's awareness here that I never had, and I think that. I mean, I've got friends who had parents who were like, total hippie types, but nothing ever got done.
No, and that's frustrating in itself.
Right? They were so flow, we're just going with the flow, but nothing ever got done. And, that they would never be anywhere on time, and their friends' parents would start getting annoyed, and, because, they're never here on time, and they'd start telling them to be there 3 hours before just to see if they would actually end up arriving on. And this is our relationship with time.
Yeah. When I talk about personalities, there is an element of personality that does affect this need for speed and need to be on time, and one that is a personality type that, we won't worry about that. So when I'm looking at people, I know the people that won't be on time, and I don't do what people did was tell them a later time, because on the time that you do that, they'll be there on time, and you'll be messed up. You'll be screwed. It'll be like, I told them to be half an hour earlier, and they've actually rocked up half an hour earlier. Now I've messed it up. But it is very interesting, the rationale, all of the stuff around time, because part of it is a personality thing too, I think, innately. But you have to be in your own innate thing, because obviously when you're bustling along on your parents' expectations and time span, it's not necessarily yours. So did you discover that yours was a different, or did you actually have to change what you feel might have been innate, or do you feel it was more self-directed by your parent?
Well, I had to get conscious about it. Yeah, I had to get conscious about it, and I had to make a choice because my relationship with time wasn't helping me, and in regard to what we've just spoken about, and there's some levels that I want to go to here, that a friend of mine just really called me on it. He just said, look, you in terms of being, getting to places on time, and that would be me setting myself up to stay in this old rushed pattern, which my mother would model to me, and I inherited from her. And he called me on it because I would leave it till I'd give myself just enough time to get anywhere, and then I'd have to scream around trying to get there, and I was always late. And he called me on it because I just didn't prioritize time, or I didn't prioritize other people's relationship with time.
Very important. Very important. It's massive.
Huge. Yeah. So that brought me to a place, because I wasn't prioritizing it for myself, but because he went oi and gave me a little love slap, right? And then because I knew I was impacting him, I made a choice to get conscious about it.
So is your consciousness about it before children or after children? Because before children, it's almost like, it's like when I say to people, when you have one child, it's like a handbag, and you don't realize that. It's quite easy. You can carry them around and put them down anywhere almost. And then you have two, and your whole world changes. So was it before? Because before children, we think we have no time, and then you have kids, and it's like, really? What was I doing before?
Well, yeah, I mean, I had a little internal giggle when you asked that question, because it was like, I didn't have any consciousness before I had kids.
Okay.
I was completely, on autopilot being, just. So it was definitely after I had kids. But you're right. I had no idea back then. You think life is moving fast, and then you have children, and all of a sudden they're 5 and 10 and
30.
You have a measure of time, right? So yeah, it was definitely after. And you know, so many moments throughout my journey as a parent, but just recently, just over the last sort of number of years, that this relationship that we have with the construct of time, right? Because there's 24 hours in the day, right? We have there's a structure there, right? There's a framework that's in place. And people say to me, but how do I create more time? You know, I just want to have more time. And we do have we often have a disempowered relationship with time, that there's never enough, right? Which I was talking about before. But the thing that I really noticed just in the last little while is it's because we're never here, right? We're never in the present moment.
Exactly.
Right?
No,
and most
not living in it.
No. Yeah. Most of humanity lives stuck in the past, right? Reliving old experiences, constantly overthinking, right? About what needs to be done, what could have been done, what someone else needs to do, what they should have done, right?
Or is there another segment that live in the future?
Absolutely.
And are constantly worrying about what will be and what will be happening?
Yeah. Freaking out about the future. Right? And we're trying to relate to people from those two ends of the spectrum, which is the past and the future, and we're not here, right? We're not here because we're stuck in this relentless, you know, turmoil of our heads, of our thoughts, of overthinking, analyzing, and we're never here. So we're out of connection with ourselves to start with, and our families, right?
Very much.
And what I say, you know, when I work with parents, it's like, imagine you're playing with your child. You just, you know, you're playing a game, or you're making love with your partner, right? And the level of connection that you feel depends on being there in that moment.
Yep. And not looking at the ceiling and thinking it needs painting.
Yeah.
Like
being present. Yeah. Being open, being curious. And you've got to admit, you know, I use those two examples. When that's not happening, you're not there, right? You're in your head. You know, if it's with your kid, it's like, oh my God, what I should be doing rather than being here. My to-do list is going, right? And a lot of the time, if it's, you know, you're making love with your partner, you know, will he still want me when I'm old? You know, does my butt look big at this angle? Or, you know,
absolutely,
is he going to leave me? Right? You know, all this head stuff. Yeah. And we're out of the present moment. We're not here.
Is your business in endless chaos? Are you constantly in a state of self-criticism and unhappiness? Feeling out of control? Well, take back your life. This is something I can help you with. Let me teach you the tools of self-understanding and self-love. You won't look back. Take the first step and email me for a chat at thepersonalitycoach.com.au. So what do you work with and how do you reconnect people to being in the moment then?
Oh my goodness. Well, you know, I share this awareness with them, you know, for a start, but it's like, because when we're not here, and I remember just being with my little guy, it was just the other day, and we were walking together to the bus stop, and he was telling me this story, and I just looked at him, I turned around and said, dude, I wasn't here. I didn't hear anything that you just said. Can you say it again? And he said, oh, Mum, I wasn't really listening either. We had such a beautiful laugh about it because that was it.
He was just burbling.
Neither of us were listening. He wasn't listening to himself.
That's very cute.
It was beautiful, but it just illustrates that, you know, and I thought that I was quite a connected person, right? I thought that I was here. I thought that I was, you know, and it took, I released a program called Connection with Self a few months ago, and this is what it's all about, right? But there's another level here that I share with parents, because it's more than that, right? It's more than whether or not we're present in the moment. If you see your whole life coming at you, right? The lives of your kids, the lives of your partner, the lives of, everyone, you're going to be in overwhelm, right? And you're not here. And when I say that we spend so much time in our heads and our thoughts, and then we wonder why we've never got enough time, right? I mean, I remember I would sit down and I would think and wish something that hadn't happened into happening differently, right? Oh God, if I just, I sit there and I could have gone that, I wish it had got, and we're giving them different endings, and how can you change that? But this is what we do. We sit here and we overthink things, and it puts us into overwhelm, and we don't even realize we're doing it, right? Constantly, because worrying about our kids' futures is such a good one, right? How are they going to turn out? Will they have friends? Will they be liked? Are they going to get married? Are they going to have a good job? Will they be successful? Is the way that I'm parenting them going to screw them up for life? Right? And most of these kids aren't even out of primary school yet, right? With the parents that I'm working with, they're pushing them around in buggies.
Really?
Right?
That's scary.
It is. And these parents are bringing all of that stuff and worrying about it today.
And they'll be worrying about it tomorrow if they keep thinking like that. My goodness. No wonder this generation is so stressed. My goodness.
Exactly, because we're bringing it all in, and we're bringing it in today, and and it puts us into absolute overwhelm, and then we never have enough time, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how are we going to get it back?
What do we do? How do we expand time, right? How do we extend
How do you put
time?
56 hours into one day.
Another day in the week, please. Yeah, in the weekend would be good.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Yeah, but this is it. It's like, rather than seeing your whole life, right? Rather than indulging all of those thoughts, right? You've got to let it go. Right, you've got to let it go. We've got to learn how to focus on what's here right now. Right? All that matters is what's here today. Yeah. And you've got to learn how to bring the focus to that. And what that means is that we've got to get out of here. We've got to get out of our heads, right? And stop the constant overthinking and overanalyzing and worrying and working things out and needing to know, because when we do that, we're in denial of what's happening right in front of us, right? And we're missing it all. Yeah, we're missing it all. And no one really thinks about this because it's just normal to overthink. Because we all do it, right? It's just a normal human condition, and we've got to be willing to change, right? We've got to be willing to let go of our overthinking, right? So how do we do that, right? Because that's the question. How do we do that? Because what I'm saying is, I'm not saying we're never going to think about things, because we do. I mean, we have powerful, beautiful minds, right? And they are. But what I'm saying is we've got to make a commitment to develop the practice of being here now, right? Being in the present moment. And one of the most simple things that I use, because I love simple, right? And parents, for any parent, simple is good. Is good. I say when you're
not good.
Yeah, it's
simple is wonderful.
Amazing. It's simple is powerful. Simple is so empowering. And when they're in this place of and the kids are kicking off, and it's chaos, right? Whatever it looks like, is to just come back here. Right? Put your hands on your heart. Take 3 deep breaths in, right? And you're back. You're here again. And the world looks so different. And do you know how long it took me to install that little, that tiny little tool? Because, but I need to sort this out, and I need to think about this, and I need to resolve this, and I need to fix this. And it's like, hang on. when I just come back here, I take 3 breaths and I'm back. I'm back. Yeah. So that's a very simple tool that not all of us are using.
No. And I think, like you say, once you're caught in the overwhelm, the thought of 3 breaths is like, oh, I haven't got time for that.
I've got time. I've got time. Exactly. And then we're back in the cycle again. Yeah.
But the truth of it is, my husband has a calm app or whatever it is, and that's the encouragement. And when you take the time, which is so small, you take that time to do it, it really does work. And it is a great idea to just do that. And it's something small you can throw in during, and you won't always get it right because you don't, but yeah, if you can manage to do that. So do you have any other ideas on how we can create more time? Is it a matter of being more organized, or is it a matter of, what's it a matter of?
Yeah, I mean, because there's a structure playing out, right? And for me, my structure was very disempowered. I thought I was in the flow, but, I wasn't. I was just in a very dysfunctional, unhelpful structure around time. So when I said to you before that when my friend called me on it, and I was like, right, I need to actually address this and make it a priority and actually put a few plans in place, right? Some structure. And then I can flow around that. Yeah. And especially with kids, it's like, I know if I get up at 7 o'clock, our mornings are going to be rubbish.
Yep.
Right. If I get up at 6, we're going to flow. It's beautiful. Right. And we have that in place. It's about getting some clarity, some structure, some steps, some logic, in there, and then you can relax, right? You can flow around it. But a lot of people who want to be more flowy, maybe because their parents were very rigid, right? That I want to just flow through life, right? Just put a few things in, and then you can flow around it, which is really, really powerful. So it's, things that might seem obvious, but when we get these into our day, they're huge. But the other thing that I wanted to mention is around, getting out of our thoughts, right? Being able to make a commitment to being here now, when we can literally take our head off, right? We can take it off and say, right, okay, I'm going to spend 10 minutes with my kid here, and we're going to play, we're going to play a game, and I'm going to take my head off. And then we put it back on when we need it.
Yes.
Right? Because we do, if I need to think about some stuff that needs a bit of thinking, or if I want to dream about the future and what I want to create in my life, right? And then you come back to the present. It's like a head on, head off, right? And it's a really powerful way of just giving ourselves permission, right? Of like windows of time. Because I've said this to parents, if you really want to indulge yourself and just really stress out and worry about this thing for a little bit, then put a window around it. Right? I'm going to do this for 10 minutes. I'm going to let myself go and really go into this and say 10 minutes, because this is a boundaries thing, right? Yeah. So when we're able to get tighter on our boundaries and clearer, and put strong, clear, boundaries in with ourselves, and that reflects back into other people. It's like, okay, I'm going to give myself 10 minutes to go off on one. I'm going to give myself 10 minutes to think how I could have done that situation better, even though it's, give myself that opportunity to learn from it, right? As long as it's not just, oh my God, going over that same situation for 2 weeks. I mean, is that really necessary? And then we wonder where our time's gone. So windows of time are really useful.
Yeah. And chunking them down into small windows. So Absolutely. They're not a massive pane of glass.
Yeah. Yeah, and especially if you're just kind of getting in the practice of, wow, I've really been in that place of overthinking and allowing myself to go into thoughts and catastrophizing, which is a word that I've, this hasn't even happened yet. And I've already gone down every single avenue of what might happen. It hasn't even happened yet. It's okay, I'm going to give myself 5 minutes of major catastrophizing and then I'm going to pull my head in, right? Yeah, it's like it's getting conscious about what we're doing and why we're doing it, right? Because this is our empowerment around how we relate to time, and it's huge. Yeah, because our lives will change when we can let go of this overthinking, when we can bring ourselves into the present moment and be here. And you're right, it doesn't take a lot to begin with. I remember doing like these little 5-minute meditations with me and my kids, right? Beautiful, 5 minutes. I mean, if you haven't got 5 minutes in your day, then something is wrong.
You need to wake up early.
Right?
Yeah.
Something is wrong. Yeah. Yeah.
And it is, and for children that the full attention is so important, having your full attention, and they can tell when you're not there, so we've gotten into a swim school business and we see a lot of parents with children, and we always note, we sit there and go, most of the parents, their kids are in there swimming and they're not even looking at them. They're all on their phones, and the kids get out and, they know that their parents aren't watching them. There's so much going on today where we're just not aware as parents how much our children really just need that one-on-one time. Like you're saying, that bit of personal time just makes such a difference to that constant thought process. And so it is. And like you say too, I think if you chunk everything down and break stuff down, it doesn't make anything as hard. 3 breaths, 10 minutes to blow your head off and then 10 minutes to sit with your kid and leave that hat in the corner. They're great words of advice and great things to do, because I think that most of us run out of time at some stage, and it's usually because we're on the back foot and we haven't planned and we haven't worked things out. And if we can work out those small things to do, that's fabulous.
The other one, I've just got one more quick one that I can share, because when I was saying about my mother, and I've felt this absolutely, that back foot, waking up on the back foot, the way that we're talking to ourselves, right? The way that we're talking to other people. They call it spelling, right? Because we're casting spells. You might have heard someone say that with the words words that we use. We are creating everything around us, right? We're creating our experience. And if we run around going, I've never got enough time, then that's what it's going to be, right?
We're telling ourselves.
We're literally telling ourselves. And it's like the universe goes, oh, she's never got enough time. And then it lines everything up to create that, right? And it's incredible. So when we can start shifting the way that we're talking, the way that we're speaking, right? And there's so many examples of this. Like, I've stopped saying we can't afford it to my kids because I'm programming them with that one. So I've stopped saying we're never, that I never have enough time, or that we're going to be late. We're going to be late. It's like we're going to get there on time. We're going to get there with heaps of time. We're going to have an easeful, beautiful, transition into this next activity. Yeah, it's about choosing where your focus is with the language you're using, right? Huge piece. And because we're so conditioned down that negative, lower vibration route of, oh my God, back foot, never enough. Yeah, it takes a bit of consciousness and commitment to go, okay, I'm going to start tracking these words and seeing when I'm saying them, and then making a conscious effort to change that up, right? To change that up, because the power of that is off the charts.
It is absolutely off the charts. I had someone come and see me as well, and they were saying how their child was telling them that they were a stupid mum and they never got anything right and all this type of stuff. And I said to her, what do you say about yourself? And when you make a mistake, or, you know, when you're and she said, I say out loud, I'm stupid, Mummy shouldn't have done that, she's the wrong, you know. And I said, well, that's your answer, isn't it? You know, they're just coming back at what you've told them about yourself. So if you want to change that, then you're going to have to change all the words you're using about who you are, you know, what you are. So and it's huge, and it's huge for your own head.
Yeah.
If you keep telling yourself you're stupid or I'm always late, then you're going, like you say, you're putting it out there, and your subconscious is going, oh yes, I am always late. Yeah, here we go.
You're listening, right? You're listening.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But it is also a very conscious effort to make sure that you don't say those things. So I do think that's one of the really important things to take away from this too, is talk about yourself well. Say good things. Look at you, and then you actually feel good too.
Totally. Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, the way that we speak to ourselves is everything. And also just exactly what you said with that brilliant example, we're teaching other people how to treat us as well.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very much so.
Yeah.
Very much so. Oh, this is a huge thing. Parenting is massive. And thank goodness there are people around like you and myself, hopefully, that can help some people with their parenting dilemmas. And all of the information about you will be in our show notes. And if anyone wants to contact you, it'll all be there. Thank you again for your wonderful expertise and knowledge and sharing yourself. It's been wonderful to have you on today.
Oh, it's been an absolute delight. Thanks for having me, Kate.
Self-care is important for all individuals as it allows them to recharge, maintain their well-being, and improve their overall quality of life. Take charge of creating more time for yourself as a parent, a partner, and for you. Remember too that if you have a partner, you need to be a team. Learn how to understand each other and listen to hear. Communicate your needs and values. Work on what you can do right now. Baby steps can make all the difference. Wishing you all the time in the world. Thank you for listening to Parenting and Personalities. If you enjoyed this episode, we'd love it if you could leave a rating and a review. That would help others learn about this podcast. If you're interested in discovering more about you and your family's personality types, you'll find my book, Who Is This Monster or Treasure in My House, on Booktopia or Amazon. If you have an episode idea, please send a note to thepersonitycoach@gmail.com. Many thanks to our producers at Stories and Strategies, and we'll see you next time.
Are you a podcaster? Maybe you've got that big idea and you're looking for a network to join. The multi-award-winning Ozcast network can get your content to eyes and ears all over the world. Join now for the first month free, and you could be featuring this sound at the beginning of your podcast.
Ozcast.
Simply head to ozcastnetwork.com for details.